Okay. Well, first of all, the title has drawn you to this subject, but before I go into what I'm going to say, and maybe you can guess, maybe you can't, I don't know, maybe you don't know me at all. You have to know something if you don't know this, and that is, and this is truth, I'm not trying to pretend or act and all, and that is, I have a relationship with him above, the maker. At this time of doing this video, it's 43 years of walking with him. And I can assure you that I'll start with me, although it really started with him. I absolutely love you. I don't care what my opinion is and what your opinion is. That doesn't change. It's an irrevocable love. And if I could go through that camera and through your screen and your device and go sit by you, I don't care who you are and what your orientation is sexually or what you are ethnically or anything, socio-economic status, nothing. It's a genuine love that I have, and it's a pure love, and it's a true love, and I would throw my arms around your neck and kiss you. I would not kiss you on your lips. I don't care if you're heterosexual or anything else. But I would kiss you on your face and just let you know that this is true, non-judgmental, non-condemning, non-bigotry. I am not a bigot. I have definitely strong opinions, but you do too. Does that mean everybody's a bigot? Well, maybe if you could go that way. And I have a tolerance. The people who call other people because they don't agree with them bigots is really the bigot. Then they can't even see it, because it's a very severe, very passionate, intolerant view that their opinion is right, their creed, their opinion, and everything. So I totally respect people, humans, and value them as much as I think they're equal. We're equal. Now, where we go from there in our opinions and our ideas, then we may have disagreements, of course. So, but I want to start out that way, that I do not have a condemning attitude, and I don't have an unloving, I'm not a hater. I'm not a racist. Oh, I could go on each one of these. Are you kidding? I'm not a bigot. You know, I'm not any of those titles, these labels and everything that people like to put on people. Phobia. Like, I think that's an inaccurate term in many cases, maybe not all. Yeah, I think that's true. There are people who are phobia. There's homophobia. I am not homophobic. I love homosexuals and gay people. I've had a lot of interaction with them. In the career that I went into, for example, the dance business, I was a professional dancer. I love those people. I love them. So let's start with that premise, and hopefully you'll listen, by the way, to all these parts. I'm going to bring it into bite sizes. I could have spoken for I don't know how long these are all going to last, maybe 45 minutes to an hour, but I decided let's do just chunks, you know, little pieces. So I'll try and get going. Here is the question that is in your title. Does God make the alphabet? And by the way, I don't know, could go on, and I don't know them all, and I think they're becoming more and more. I don't know. It seems like it anyway. LGBTQ2IAP. Does God make lesbians, gays, bisexuals, queers, two-spirit, intersex, asexual, pedophiles, and all? And each one of these precious individuals, and I mean that, they have such great value that Jesus Christ literally died for each one of them. Like, shed his precious blood, spotless, innocent, pure Lamb of God. God himself came down and died for everybody. Every one of them, equally. Like, he gave, by the way, there's a Christian view, and there's different opinions among Christians, of course. There's a view that he only died for the elect because certain scriptures might say, but there's others. There's at least one. There's two or three, I remember. For God so loved the world that he gave. Or how about 1 John chapter 2? It says he died for the propitiation for the whole world. It says that, for the whole world, everyone. And there's another passage that says that. Anyway, let me go on. That's a different subject. And by the way, anything I say here, jot down a note or type it in the comment if you want to either challenge it or disagree, or I don't want to get arguments, you know, but it's good to civil debate, civil discussions, and I'm willing to learn and be educated. You know, I am not all that, and I am not all knowledgeable, that's for sure. So I like to hear different views and different points. I may not have an answer right away. I'll go seeking, you know, especially him. So anyway, so, you know, I just want to set that up. So, okay, let me answer your question real quick, or this question. Does God make any of these? All right, now, I'm not talking out of two sides of my mouth, but the real question is, he make them like that? And I'll start with that one. No, I'll start with the first one. This is kind of really important. He made everyone. He made them. He designed them. Now, did he make them that way? No. Now, this is where you might cut me off. Oh, that's it. I'm out of here. And you just leave. Well, why don't you listen? You're listening. Listen to my viewpoints and why I don't think he did. And how did it happen? I believe God. I'm a theist. And I'm not an atheist. You know, pantheist, you know, I know them all. I can't think of them right now. A deist. But in one sense, God made the world and he gave us free will. And then when sin happened, he did not just abandon us, thank God. Very involved with us, very. But I also believe that his hands went back some, if you will. I'm not a deist, which means there's a tendency to believe that God just is not involved in the affairs of people. He just wound us up in creation and he's not involved and he doesn't answer prayers. No, there's too much evidence on the arguments that I have here. But I would like to present to you the fact that once sin entered, which we'll get into later in another part, then there was a giving up some, you know, a little bit, like, and I'll explain that later. But in this first part, I would like to first tell you where I'm coming from, which you probably have gathered already. There's a reason I have this worldview, just like you have your worldview. You may have a bias, we have a bias, but I'll change my worldview once if you knew me and how passionately I am all about truth. I do not want to be tricked or duped. I don't want to be deceived by something that I'm believing in that's wrong. So I really do scrutinize. I'm very careful. I don't go by anything that people say. I listen to it, but I really go very carefully on what I have from him above, my relationship with him and my studies. And even the Bible, this is the first part that I would like to say, that all my answers coming up here, well, not all of them. There's other things besides the Bible. There's nature out there, and there's philosophy and science and all that, and history and everything else. But my first thing that I'm going to go through is the Bible. And now in other videos, and if you want to challenge it, well, why go to the Bible? And I'll tell you some points in the comments, or you can look at my other videos. I have 2 or 3 of them, I don't know. And I want to get into more because, you know, I remember one time I came up with a list of 20 reasons why I believe the Bible is from God and Bible is true and it can be depended on. Is the Bible reliable? Yes. And I have good evidence of that. And I've searched it out. And then there's all these questions about, you know, well, how did it change? It's so archaic. I mean, there's all sorts of challenges. We're not going to go on those now. If you'll go with me and at least walk with me in these next videos, this is where I'm coming from, my viewpoint, and I believe God himself did this so that we would have a, what do you call it? We would have a guidebook, a map, and everything. Because, you know, where do we get answers from? Ourselves? Well, there's so many different opinions on it. And then people might say, well, there's different interpretations and all. That's why we need this, and we also need a relationship with him, and we also need his Holy Spirit. And he provided. It's just all fits well together. And experientially in my own life, I don't just go by experience because other people have their own religious experiences from other religions and all that. It's a combination of that and this and that and this. And someone can't refute things that I know God has revealed to me. There's a lot of things I don't know yet. You know, I'm not dogmatic on things. But I do base my arguments or my values and opinions on this, and there's good reasons for this, and there's good reasons why he gave it to us. But I'm so glad without this, Isaiah said, to the law and to the testimony. You know, we need this really badly. And it's so wonderful. This is not a legal just book of laws and codes and regulations and do this and don't do that, thou shalt not. You know, it's way beyond that. You're just looking at it. If you look at it this way, you're so out of it. Sorry, but you're like really peripheral. You don't understand who's behind that, why he's saying. It's like a parent saying, I don't, you're not allowed there. It's all for our good. And all that. It's because we have a God of love. It's too much evidence that way. Your needs are being met. He's giving you plenty of wonderful things. It's screwed up. There's a lot of problems in our world, but that wasn't our fault. He set it up beautifully in paradise and all that. And I'm not La La Land fairy tale, like, you know, just dream world Christian. I think there's good evidence for all of this. At this point, I would like to pause there and we'll go to our next thing. Certainly put challenges or questions down. And by the way, I'm just a little voice here. There's a lot of voices out there. Look at all the videos. Read books. There's all sorts of answers on the internet. We have it a lot easier nowadays. But there's also a lot of garbage on the internet too. A lot of lies. And so you have to kind of go through this thing and carefully do it. Let me just end with this. Know that God really is real, number one. Number two, he really, really, really cares about you. Number three, he has a reason for you. You're here for a purpose, and he wants you to follow that plan for your good. Just like if I wanted my child to follow a plan on his education or this or that for the good of the child. It's all contained in there. And just weigh everything. Don't take my word as final, but here's my big thing to say. I want to request, if you're searching for this and you're wondering about this, are you willing to go to him and say, I want answers really from you? Why did you do this? Why am I like this and all that? So I really want to encourage you to cry out to God. Just go like this. Just start doing that. And God will listen to you. And boy, does he want it. He'll go, that's what I've been waiting for. He'll roll up his sleeves and he'll come and he'll reveal himself to you. And he'll reveal the truth. And he will help change you and everything. So anyway, that's a little snippet for the beginning. Hope that wasn't too long. I'll come back with part 2 soon. All right, God bless you.